All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 3, season 1, episode 3. I still don't have a name for this yet, so maybe you can help me out with that later. But so far, we've just kind of been calling this like a conversation with, right? So today, our conversation is with my man, Simmons Byrd, also known as Birdman, is what I call you. I'm sure you've got some other fun nicknames that maybe we can share offline if they're not appropriate for our podcast for today. But dude, I am pumped that you're here today because I got some things I want to talk to you about. And I think some folks will enjoy listening to as well. So we talked a little bit before we hit the record button here today of kind of my heart for this, you know, what I'm looking to do in recording this. Kind of twofold. I got some business content in my world that I'm recording, but also I'm passionate about mentoring and leadership, and I think there is a desire for folks to learn more about leadership and about mentoring. You know, when you look at one of the best-selling authors that we still have today is John Maxwell. John Maxwell writes a lot of books on leadership. He's very sought after to come in and speak. Our church partners with John Maxwell, and I think part of that popularity is because there is such a desire for people to learn more, be better leaders, and now this whole spinoff of mentorship. And I believe that that a mentor is in line with leaders. I think there's leadership that God has given folks when they choose to be a mentor, and that's one of the things I want to talk to you about today, because I've seen that in you. I've seen both sides. I've seen leadership and I've seen mentorship. I want to talk about some of that with you today. But before we dig into that content, a lot of folks watching today will know you. But for those that don't, I want to learn a little bit more about the Birdman. And to tee that up, so you and I really, probably not even a year. It's probably been the last 10 months or so since we've gotten close. I've always known who you are. I've seen you play sports at Trinity. But this past year, spending time with you, I think first couple of weeks of football season on the sideline, and then starting to grab some grub together and really form a really cool relationship has been awesome. But tell us a bit about you. Tell us, you know, where you're from, all that good stuff, and you've got some exciting things coming here in the next few months as you head off to college. So tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name is Simmons. I was born in Huntsville, but I grew up in Montgomery. I graduated from Trinity a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been a month yet, has it?
No, not yet. And then I'll be going to Auburn University here in about 2 months. So
the Auburn University.
Oh yeah,
that's right. I'm proud of you. That was a big decision in life, man. You made the right one. I'm proud of you. All right, so you're a humble guy, right? So let me help with a couple of things. You played multiple sports. Basketball, baseball, football, all at Trinity. Trinity had an incredible run in athletics this year. Multiple sports, state championships, but you were a part of that state championship baseball team, maybe about that same time, 3-4 weeks ago, I guess is when that wrapped up. So I want to hear you tell a couple of good stories, because that run, I mean, you guys had an incredible run. And I think I read something the other day where maybe once you guys got into the tournament, did you guys lose the first game of every series, but still ended up?
We did that 3 out of the 5 or 6 series. So
that's incredible.
More than Trinity's used to, but it was.
That's incredible. So give me some good stories from baseball season this year.
Well, I'd say probably my favorite moment is when we took the spring break trip. We went up to Orange Beach, and that's when we really started. The whole team kind of mingled, and Coach Cook did a great job of giving us opportunities to get to know each other better. But I mean, we all went to an ice cream shop and spent like an hour and a half there, and we were all out on the beach in the pool, just laughing and cutting up.
Yeah.
And but that was a great time. And then once playoffs started, we started taking all those road trips. Those were really fun, staying in hotels together. Yeah, it was really fun. So those are probably my 2 favorite.
That's awesome. So let's see, spring break would have been, how far into the season is that? Maybe a month, maybe? Is it that far in?
It's a little over a month.
Okay. And so you feel like that time was when things really started to gel. Mm-hmm. Felt like the team came together and really that brotherhood. Because, right, sports is one of those things. where that bond, that brotherhood that's formed. It's hard to describe that unless you've been a part of that, right? So
Yes.
you feel like that's where it started.
Yes, sir.
So walk me through state championship series, game one, when that one's over, right? Tell me about your mindset. Let's talk about mindset. Let's talk about some of the things maybe the coaches said to prepare you guys going into those, so for those that don't know, that's a best of 3 series, right? So it's first team to win 2. Game one, we come out with a loss. And there's 2 ways I think that folks can respond to that. So tell me, I want to hear from you. Tell me how you think the team responded and bounced back from that.
Yeah, so on the way back, we were all upset, mad that we got the loss the first game. But when we got back to the hotel, we were all just talking, and we loved it. Because, I mean, most teams would be kind of freaking out, but that's the 3rd time. The week before, we traveled away to Thomasville, lost the first game, and had to win the next 2. And we were just like, I mean, this is nothing new.
Yeah.
I mean, we all had a good mindset going to bed that night, just really wanting to wake up and get it done the next day. But the coaches talked to us after and before the game. We're like, I mean, y'all trust each other, and this is nothing we haven't seen before. I mean, you played in the worst environments. You've had to come back and win both games out of the best of 3. So we were all kind of confident, and especially after we won game 2, we were like,
yeah,
it's ready to go. We're ready to go.
That's awesome. And even we're not there yet, but I'm hearing some things from you around leadership and 2 components, right? Coach Cook, shout out Coach Cook, love Coach Cook. Man, what an amazing thing to be able to say as first year as head coach, got that state championship ring, which is awesome. So, so Coach Cook obviously, had a very influential part on mindset for you guys. And then it had to be the leaders for you guys in that locker room, in the hotel room. What for you was some of because there's some younger guys that are on there, right? We called some younger guys up from JV that were a part of that. What are some things that you tried to instill in those guys after that first game?
Well, we got back to the hotel and everybody was kind of down and everybody was pretty hungry, so they got pizza to the hotel, and I was going to the rooms, me, Ben, Coleman, Grayson, JJ, Chris, Matt, we're all going in the rooms, just checking up on everybody, just making sure that everybody knows that it's not the end of the world. And we get another day to go after it, and tomorrow's our last day for sure for playing baseball, except for Grayson and Ben, who are going to play college. But kind of just lifting each other up, getting ready for the next day, making each other laugh, trying to get your mind away from the loss and getting ready to go the next day.
Yeah. And the next day was a long day,
yes,
right?
It was.
So then
it was.
For those that don't know, the game one was that a Monday night? I'm trying to remember what night it was, or was it later in the week?
It was game one was Monday. And
game one was Monday.
2 and 3 were Tuesday.
Tuesday, right? Yes, right. So game one, get some rest, and then we got a doubleheader. Granted, Trinity has to win that first game, right? And if so, we get a doubleheader. Mm-hmm. It was hot that day. Mm-hmm. You guys were playing on a turf field, and a lot of times folks don't realize with those turf fields, they have those little rubber pellets, right? Yeah. Did you have to dump the rubber pellets out of your shoes after each game?
Oh, yeah.
And those rubber pellets hold that heat, and those fields can feel like a furnace sometimes. So, to be able to battle back, it's hot, and from the mindset that you have to like everything that you guys as leaders instilled in everyone to, hey, let's overcome and conquer. That was just incredible all together for day 2, right? Mm-hmm. And man, you guys have some incredible athletes on the team. A lot of people contributed in multiple ways. I was watching on the high school network because I had work and couldn't get away, and we get down to the end of the game, right? 2 outs, and there's a ball in play, and there's my man, number 2, Birdman. And as soon as they hit it, I was like, buddy, stay down. And you drop down, fielded it, throw to first. How cool was that to get the last out of the state championship
It was
game?
awesome. I remember after I threw it, I kind of blacked out until I was in the dog pile. My shoulder was popping out of socket. But I just remember looking at pictures, and I'm on my knees after I throw it, and I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
We did it. But that play, it was awesome. It was an awesome moment.
That's a cool moment.
I won't forget it.
And I know a lot of folks got some good photos of that for you to have for later on, but that was really cool. At any point did you think, oh, please don't overthrow it, please don't overthrow it?
Oh,
or is it that routine where it's like scoop and throw?
I'm a good accurate thrower, so it's really just the fielding. If I can get the fielding, then because from second it's not too far a throw for me, so the throwing, I wasn't really worried about that. It hit off of Stanley's glove, and I was like, oh boy. And so I saw it off the bat, it was going up the middle, then it hit off of his glove, so I adjusted to it, made the throw, and Benji caught it, and then
ball game.
we all celebrated.
Ball game. That was a really, really cool moment. So now the really cool moment is when do the rings come in?
I think that they'll come in during football season. We'll have like a ceremony.
Yeah.
At one of the football games is what I've been hearing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yes, sir.
So that, you and I've talked about how your senior year would fly by, but now it's probably going to feel like forever until that football game gets here for you to get that championship ring, right?
That's right.
So that's a good segue into a couple things I wanted to talk to you about today. So I want to spend a couple minutes. Let's talk about some leadership and mentorship. And then we're going to end by having some fun. I end all of these with 10 questions, and I've got 10 good ones to ask you as well. But we talked a little bit before we started today. I want to hear from you because I'm passionate about it. We've got a group of guys, that meet together and we talk about leadership a lot, but we can read all the books we want, listen to all the podcasts we want, but I think sometimes the best feedback we can get is to hear it from those who have received. And you've been around some great men in your life. Not only coaches at Trinity, but even I texted you a picture yesterday, right? So at the Buddy Watson press box, I'm walking downstairs from the Buddy Watson press box, and there's the All-Star banner with, dude, how old are you in that picture? Maybe
I was 11.
10 or 11, yeah.
11.
There's 11-year-old Simmons Byrd, like in his All-Star jersey, the banners that we do. And I say that to say you've had a lot of great, coaches, not only Trinity coaches, but even outside of that you've been around. So tell us maybe one or two that come to mind, and maybe one or two lessons that you've learned from those leaders or coaches in your life.
So just the two that jump off immediately are Coach Shook. He was the head football coach for Trinity the past 2 years, and then Coach Cook. He's been coaching baseball, but this is his first year as head coach, as you said. And what makes them jump out to me is just the relationships that they have formed with us, and it really helps with them. You just know that they're going to have your back no matter what.
Yeah.
And so Coach Shook, things that I still do to this day, he preaches on discipline, and even when things are going tough and it's not going right, stay into what you've been doing and things that you've been taught to do that will make you successful. And so that's really the biggest thing that I've gotten from him and Coach Cook. We had a great time this season with him being our head coach this year. And one of the things that he instilled early on was hard work, and hard work makes you successful. We got up before school during the winter, 30 degrees. We were out on the football field pushing sleds, carrying weights, and it's cool to see how much that transferred throughout the season, especially in the playoffs. We trusted in the hard work, and we trusted in each other because we had gone through all the hard work together to get to that point.
Yeah.
So I would say those are the two things.
Those are two good ones. So we already shouted out Coach Cook, shout out Coach Granger, or we already shouted out Coach Jared Cook. So Coach Shook, it's Shook and Cook, right?
That's right.
So Coach Shook, shout out to Coach Shook. I saw him, speaking of baseball, a week or so ago. I guess it was last week. He's coaching one of his boys in baseball.
Okay.
And he's got a baseball shirt on and baseball shorts, and I was like, dude, that ain't you. Like that you're not a baseball coach. I'm used to Coach Shook, the football coach, with the laminated card in the back. And one thing I love about spending a couple of years on the sidelines with Coach Shook, he's intense as a football coach, just in the moment and the way he sees the game and coaches the game. but with my perspective of him, with where I am on the football field, the laminated card, and he always has a Dasani water bottle stuck in his back pocket back there.
Count on it.
And I don't know that I've ever seen him, pull it and take a swig. And I guess
never.
It's an emergency bottle, I guess,
it's just
right?
There for insurance.
But Coach Shook knows, and I told him this last week. I said, man, seeing you on the baseball field just doesn't feel right. I guess I'm so used to seeing Coach Cook in both roles. But Coach Shook was different to see him in that baseball role. But those are two good ones. And going back to, again, I've had the privilege of Coach Shook allowing me, to be a part of you guys on the sidelines, and being in the locker room and hearing how he leads. And like you said, one of the things that I have taken away from both Coach Cook and Coach Shook is, first and foremost, they love you guys on a personal level. And one of the things, going back to what we talked about with John Maxwell earlier, something that has always stuck with me, and I think I have shared this with some of you guys before by writing this on some of those cards, is John Maxwell has shared a quote. I don't know if it's his or not, but it's a quote of, people don't care what you know until they know that you care, right? And I think that's such a critical component of leadership is establishing that baseline of knowing, hey, I care about you as an individual first, because then I think it sets the precedence of, if you and I ever have to have any tough conversations, that it's coming from a foundation and a spirit of love, with that baseline being set. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think those are two really, really good ones. All right, next thing I wanted to touch on before we get to 10 questions. You and I, probably back in September, maybe, we're having breakfast at Chappie's one morning, and I always tell seniors this when we're meeting, is that, man, this year is going to fly by. It's going to go by so fast. And here we are today. You're a few weeks removed from high school graduation, getting ready to go off to college. Got your bid a couple of nights ago, so you've already started that portion of your college journey. What is something that, maybe one or two nuggets you pulled out from your senior year that you think would be good to share with folks, these upcoming seniors, or maybe even folks that are going to be a junior? Because I would say your junior year can sneak away from you a little bit, but your senior year can definitely be one of those don't blink years where it's gone. So what are some nuggets you learned from this year that you would share with those that are moving into that junior or senior year?
So the first thing that comes to mind, which we did this year, which made the year so much cooler and just really made it a great year, was getting to know people that you normally haven't hung out with. Like I've known them all my life, but we've never really gone out and hung out together on a weekend basis. And just doing that and getting to know guys, and even some girls that I usually don't talk to outside of school that much, just getting to know them more and hanging out with them more, and just expanding, making more memories with new friends and everything, just makes the year really a lot more special.
Yeah.
But that's really one thing that I would say you should do, and everybody says it, but don't take anything that comes that year, your senior year, because so many things I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And sports obviously played a big part in that, but also school, the great teachers that I had, and just the laughs and memories from school and the hallways and in the classrooms. Just, it was really a great time, and I won't ever forget those times that were made in the classroom and in the hallways and everything.
Yeah, that's cool that you said that. I was talking. Me and the boys have talked about it a couple of times, that the dynamic that you guys have at Trinity is so much different than like what I had, right? So when I graduated from Lee High School, we had 700 people in our graduating class. You guys had 63. Is that what the number was? That's a big difference there, right? But one of the things that I've always heard pertaining to not only Trinity but smaller schools in general, right? So I think maybe if you take the majority of maybe the private schools in Montgomery or other areas, is you see, for those of you that all came in together, right? So in kindergarten, those type areas, like everybody's together, everybody's friends. But then once you get to middle school, there starts to be a little bit of a separation, just because you got some folks that play this sport, some folks that play this sport, some folks have this interest, some have those. So you start to see some of that move. And then when you get to high school, you see it move even more, right? So, and it's more prevalent and it's more noticeable in schools like Trinity because there's 63 of you, right? As opposed to where I came from with 700, you didn't see it as much. So I love that you say that this year was kind of maybe closing that back in, right? Where some of those lanes have gone this way to close back in. Because, relationships matter, and you never know with some of those folks where you may need them or you may run into them again. Exactly. You and I, before we started this, I was sharing some of my, we were talking about fraternity because you got a bid, right? So we were talking about some of my fraternity days, and we still have some old fraternity paddles that I was showing you sitting over here. But there's a lot of guys through college that I still interact with on a business level, not only personal level, but business level. So you never know when some of those relationships will come full circle. One other thing too that I think of when you said that is and one of the things I'm most proud of you for, and a couple of other guys is, I believe in this whole generational mentorship. Where guys my age that are in our 40s, we need guys that are in their 60s to be an outlet or a mentor to help walk through, to say, hey, this is what life is going to look like when your kids go off to college and you become empty nesters and that type of stuff. Guys my age mentoring guys in their 20s maybe that are finishing college, entering into, hey, I'm getting married or having kids. What does that look like? I've got some pretty good experience, I think, that I can share with some of those folks. And then for you guys, the stage of life that you're in for some, 8th graders, 7th graders, 6th graders, I don't think folks realize a lot of time how important and critical a relationship can be between a 4th grader and a senior, or a 6th grader and a senior, right? We've talked before, you never know what people are going through. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's dealing with something. If somebody tells you they're not dealing with something right now, they're lying, right? Everybody's dealing with something. And you never know the impact that hey, what's up, or a fist bump in the hallway or something like that impact that can have on somebody that's younger than you. And I've noticed that with you and a lot of the guys this year, where there has been a very intentional effort put in place. And I think it probably comes from what you were sharing just a second ago, right? Of reconnecting with some folks maybe you weren't as close with, but it's been so cool to see that intentionality with some of the younger folks in the school. You guys have come to baseball practices, football, basketball practices, even games to cheer those folks on. And that's incredible. That's really, really incredible. And I think that shows a level of leadership in you and a lot of your peers for how you guys have invested in some of that younger generation there. So that's awesome. I'm proud of you for that. I really am. That's we need more of that in today's world. We really, really do. All right, so let's have some fun. My production manager is telling me where we're at on the clock. Let's have some fun, right? So there's going to be some people that watch this that think they know the Birdman, and we're going to see how well maybe they do or do not know the Birdman. All right, first question. We're going 10 questions here. You probably have to think pretty hard for this one, but looking for an honest answer here. Who is the best non-PGA golfer over 40 years old that you've played golf with?
All right, easy. This was really one of the easiest questions I've gotten in my life. I'd have to say Big G, Glenn Wilson.
My man. We were going to have to edit and re-record if you'd answered otherwise. I appreciate that, man. Me and JP's behind the camera. We are three-time,
3P, baby.
Father-son golf champions this past weekend. Go. So JP carried the team. Appreciate you carrying your old man through a round of golf yesterday. All right, so we talked about sports, and I know, so one of the things that Coach Shook has done a lot of great things with that program, but the Big Cat Club and the tailgate clubs, all these things that he's put into place has really helped Trinity be able to go above and beyond the athletics budget to purchase things for our student athletes, for all of our student athletes, not just football players, but all of our student athletes. We did the improvements to the weight room. We got those cool little air sleeves that you can put on if you have an owie. Mm-hmm. Oh, my thigh hurts, I have an owie, let me put the air sleeve on, right? Mm-hmm. See, we have those back in my day. In my day, you got some hose water is what you got. Coach Shook knows that too, right? You got some hose water. That's all you had. You guys got some ice baths, I think, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so question 2, yay or nay on an ice bath? Are you in on an ice bath?
Oh, I'm in.
Are you?
I'm in.
So do you have to ease into that, or do you just plop in? Let's go.
I like to just go in straight in, but I remember the first time I ever took an ice bath was an experience. I mean, it was rough. But then
Like take your breath away kind of
yeah,
thing?
like I was just frozen where I was. But after that, you get in, and the first 30 seconds are not fun. But after that, and then you get out, you feel so good.
How long? There's got to be a cap for how long you can stay in there, right? So you like hypothermia or something?
We usually go 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. I don't know. I'll take your word for that. I know they got those ice chamber things too, right? I've seen those ice chamber things you can stand in. Yeah, those things.
I've never done that, but I love an ice bath.
I think I'll just have to stick to Advil. Hope that my old man Advil. Hope that does something. PlayStation or Xbox?
Oh, well, I have an Xbox right now with PlayStation, no doubt.
How come?
Well, the controller, first off, is way better. Way better to operate. Because I got small hands.
Yeah.
And the Xbox controller is so bulky.
Yeah, it feels like you're more spread out, right?
Yes.
PlayStation's more kind of here, Xbox
and
here.
I think it's just easier to operate than Xbox.
Have you made your way to PC?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not on that level.
That's a whole other level.
That's
right
a
there.
whole different level.
I've just gotten to the point. See, when I was coming up, dude, it was the Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And Nintendo was left hand directional pad, right hand A and B.
Yeah.
Right. So there's none of this stuff down here and
I remember
and all that
played on
stuff.
it a little bit.
Dude, I could wear you out in Tecmo Bowl. If we played some Tecmo Bowl, I could wear you out in some Tecmo Bowl. But it took me forever to figure out all the other stuff at the same. But I'm with you. Xbox does feel a little more out. All right, I can roll with that. All right, I know the answer to this. You're gonna have to help me with this one. Text message or Snapchat?
I personally, I don't like Snapchat.
My man.
I don't like texting in general. I like calling because I don't really like texting.
Right.
I just don't like it. But if I had to go text or Snapchat, I'd probably go text just because Snapchat, you have to go in. Sometimes it takes forever, and then you have a ton of people on there that you'll have to respond to. So I'd probably say text.
Yeah, I'm a text guy too. Will, shout out Will. He made me download the Snapchat app, and I still hadn't fully figured it out yet.
You're getting there.
I think last time I looked, my Snap score was like 200.
Okay.
I feel that's pretty strong, right?
Yeah, that's strong.
That's pretty strong for an old guy. I know that your mom appreciates some good 80s and 90s music, right? You've been around, you've grown up in that. Give me the best, and it can be 80s or 90s. If you had to pick one, and if you need to go two, I'll allow you to go two. But we're sticking straight 80s and 90s. Give me top one or two, and it can be country, it can be hair bands, it can be R&B. Give me the top two. We'll go top two from 80s and 90s.
Ooh. Okay. I'd go.
Oh, it's hard. It's tough.
I go Beat It, Michael Jackson,
There you go.
and probably Jesse's Girl.
Oh, it's solid.
That's probably.
We got Jake sitting back there too. Jake's got that teed up on my Spotify. Jesse's Girl. We'll
never go wrong.
We'll put that on a pretty good bit. Yeah. That's two pretty solids there. And Michael Jackson in general. That was good stuff back in the day. Can you moonwalk?
I cannot. I
You
wish.
can't? All right.
I
If
wish.
you just said yes, we were going to test it out. If you just said yes. All right. Are you being safe and laying up, knowing that you have the possibility for par, or are we going for it, knowing that the possibility is double bogey if we don't make it?
So is this just casual golf, or is this?
No, let's say we're playing for a hundo. It's me and you.
Okay.
Me and you playing for a hundo.
So we're on a par 5.
Par 5. You can lay up knowing that more than likely you got par in the bag, or we pulling the 3-wood out.
I'm gonna go. I'm probably gonna lay up, just because I haven't dialed in the 3-wood yet. I just got a new one. So,
me and JP been talking about that.
Yeah, I just got a new one, so I would say lay up for right now.
See, I see
Once I dial
that's maturity beyond your years right now, right? So I've gotten to that point too where I know my limitations, and more than likely I'm not going to make it there. I'm going to be in the water, or in somebody's backyard.
Yeah, I'd much rather have a wedge from 115 than 20 yards on a downhill lie, trying to chip
Yeah, I just
down
thought of
green.
something. I was playing golf with somebody not too long ago. I can't remember who I was playing with. I was playing golf with somebody that shanked one off the tee box and hit it in somebody's swimming pool, and then that swimming pool, there was a dog on the outside of the pool, and the dog dove into the pool trying to get the golf. I can't remember who I was playing with.
I don't know either.
But it was a heck of a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm really I'd like to know if the dog ever got
Yeah,
got that
I don't
golf
know.
ball. I don't know.
We'll have to go and see.
But whoever it was, they I think they took a mulligan, because you're allowed a mulligan.
Yeah,
and
I
redeem
think they had
yourself.
a double header that day too before.
It may have been. I can't remember who it was I was playing with.
Yeah.
I'll probably think of it later. MJ or Kobe? Now, and that may not be a fair question, because I know MJ was probably a little bit more before your time, but based off of YouTube videos and what you know, MJ or Kobe?
I'm a big MJ guy. Give me MJ up against. I hate the LeBron MJ debate. I take MJ 10 out of 10 times.
You know, you talk about leadership like we have been. I think that that series that they did, The Last Dance, you saw
it's awesome.
a side of leadership out of him that was incredible.
I love Kobe too, but I just think that MJ overall, definitely.
I'm with you. I don't disagree with you there. All right, favorite movie. What's your favorite? What's your go-to favorite movie? Maybe one you can recite every line to.
Well, Step Brothers
Oh,
is easily. I could recite that for hours, but if it's something that like I need to lock in and just feel good, I'm gonna go with Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith.
Nice. Okay.
I love that movie. It's a really good one.
That is a good one. That man, I wouldn't have taken that, but I like that. That's a good one. I'm with you on Step Brothers too.
Yeah.
Like we could do another session.
Yeah.
And see how far we could get. Like just take it from opening scene. That we'll save that for another time. All right, let's see a couple of more. How many decimals of pi can you recite?
3.1415952. No. I just remember because whenever I get bored in my math teacher's class, she has this huge poster with the numbers with like a ton of numbers of pi. So I just kind of like stare at it blankly. And so I just, it was just kind of.
That's pretty solid.
I mean, it was like, what, 7?
Yeah,
7,
something like that.
All right, last question. And, you know, we talked a little bit in our session today around some of the leaders and folks that you've been around, but doesn't have to be for verbatim, but what would you say is the best piece of advice that you have received so far?
I would say what you were telling me. I remember when we were eating at Chappie's when you gave me that card. I still read it from time to time whenever I just see it. It's up on my the
little visor thing.
Yeah, the visor. It's up there, so I'll read it from time to time. But it's what you said earlier, about John Maxwell. People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care, and that's really been something that I've been trying to think about and something I try to do every day.
Yeah, well, I've seen it in you, like we've talked about before. You know, I wish that I wish that you and I would have been able to have known each other a little bit earlier in life, but I'm thankful for where we're at now. Like I told you before, you're not going to get rid of me, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of you click guys that are in Auburn. I think every click guy so far is in Auburn, right? We gotta continue to dump this feeder system in there, but. That's right. They're up next, so we'll continue this feeder system up there. But man, I love you. I'm proud of you. Way to finish strong too. You know that whole ending to that whole sports career and everything right there at the end was awesome. But I'm looking forward to big things from you as you ship off to college. I love you. I love your family. It's been a joy to spend this time with you, and I can't wait to see what the next chapter in your life is that God has planned for you. So, as we always do, we will put, for those of you that don't currently follow the Birdman, that don't follow Simmons on social, we'll put all your social handles and all that good stuff in the description of the video. And we'll do this again once you get up and maybe get your first semester up underneath your belt. We'll check back in again and see how life's treating you and see some other life lessons that you've learned your first semester in college. So thanks for being on, man. Love you. We're going to play some golf together this summer too. So that's going to be fun, and we'll check in again in a few months. So appreciate you being on. We'll catch you guys next time. See ya.
See ya.